we want to solve one more trigonometric equation here, and we want to isolate the trig ratio, and so we would divide both sides by 2. So dividing both sides by 2 gives us root 3 over 2. And so we're thinking, when does cosine equal root 3 over 2? And the reason we're thinking that is we're going to go ahead and take the inverse cosine or arc cosine of both sides. Our directions again are to find answers between 0 and 2 pi. And so here we have 3 theta equals, and when does cosine equal root 3 over 2? Well, it's positive, so we can do first quadrant and fourth quadrant for cosine. Remember, all are positive in the first, sine's positive in the second, tangent's positive in the third, and cosine is positive in the fourth. And so if you know your trig ratios, you know that this would be at pi over 6. And that's from the first quadrant, and then 11 pi over 6 from the fourth quadrant. Now, what we mentioned earlier is we have this 3 theta here, so we're going to multiply both sides by 1/3. And when we multiply both sides by 1/3, you're really multiplying each answer by 1/3, because we had 2 answers here. And so we get theta is equal to pi over 18 and 11 pi over 18. Now, I'm going to call that our first group of answers. That's our first group of answers. We're actually going to have 3 groups of answers because it was 3 theta. The way that we find our other 2 groups is to take the period of, or the 2 pi really, the period of cosine, the period which was 2 pi, but it's going to be 2 pi divided by 3, because we're not just finding, it wasn't just cosine of theta, it was cosine of 3 theta. So over 3, that's our period. So we have our 2 answers, but those are our 2 answers within 2 pi over 3. We can get even more answers. So what we do, we take this 2 pi over 3 and add it to each one of our answers until we get our 2 sets of other answers. We could keep adding, but we would see we would get over 2 pi if we kept adding. So 2 pi over 3, well, that's not the most convenient form of that. We want it to have an 18th there. So we're going to multiply this by 6 over 6. So this is going to be 12 pi over 18. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep adding 12 pi over 18 to our answers to get our other groups of answers for a total of 6 answers. So we take pi over 18 plus 12 pi over 18 is 13 pi over 18. And then we take 11 pi over 18 plus 12 pi over 18, which is 23 pi over 18. And then we take the 13 pi over 18 plus 12 pi over 18. 12 plus 13 is 25 pi over 18. And then we take 23 pi over 18 plus 12 pi over 18, which is 35 pi over 18. Notice that this is really close to 36 pi over 18, which of course is 2 pi. So it looks like, yeah, these are going to be our answers. If we added 12 pi over 18 again, we would be over 2 pi, and so these are our 6 answers.